Oh yeah, welcome back to the channel. We're here today to do the second part of the one tree tarp setups because I've got some other tarps I didn't do, so I'm going to do them with a different tarp. It's the 4x4 DD Group Shelter Tarp. So I've got it here. I'm going to take you in and show you what I've got today. We've got paracord, the tarp and a walking pole and some pegs. So I'm going to do a couple of configurations with this tarp. I'm going to try a walking pole one. I didn't have a pole the other day. I didn't want to use a stick because you're not always got a stick, but you might have a walking pole. And I'm going to show you another little tip later on how to get around if you haven't got a walking pole and you haven't got a stick, and you might have some camera equipment with you. That'll help you out. So let's get into it.
Every time I think I'm gonna wake up back in the jungle. Every time I think I'm gonna wake up back in the jungle.
Right, this is the tarp. It's a DD 4x4 group shelter. I brought the bigger one out today because I wanted to give that a test because you're going to get a lot more room. I talked about it in the last video with a 3x3. Look, even though it's only a metre bigger, it's a lot bigger as a tarp. I'd like to show you my knots because if you learn some basic knots, it makes everything easier for you. So I'm going to bring you in and show you some knots. We'll show you this knot. It's the Siberian Hitch. I'm going to show you it on the tree, but I'm going to show you it a bit lower than where I need it because I need to go higher and the camera's not going to do that. Right, so we take the cordage around from the left to the right. Have your fingers like this, then you wrap it around your fingers, then you swing your fingers under, pinch the cordage, the tag end, and pull it. Now when that pulls back, it will just tighten up, and that will become your Siberian hitch or the event hitch. It's called the Siberian hitch because when you do it in Siberia, you've usually got gloves on because it's -40, and you can do it with gloves on. You don't need to worry about taking your gloves off to make this knot. Because I don't have any cordage on my tarp, I've just put a loop knot in there. Now again, you can come out on your tarp in any direction with the wind behind you, so you don't get wind coming up in the tarp. And if you do watch the other video, you'll see how much bigger this tarp is. Now this is just a single tree setup where I'm going to pull away from the tree. I'm going to peg it down. There isn't a massive amount of room here, but we're going to do our best. And then we'll just pull out the back and peg that down. This might not be the tightest of peg outs because of my ground, but you'll see how it works. So far we've got 2 pegs in. This is going to be our 3rd peg. Some people might say you won't need the centre peg, but if you haven't got enough pegs, I'd say you don't need a centre peg. And then in theory, you can close this shelter. It's another good thing about this one. Let's put you back in so you can see. If you wanted to close this shelter up, you can just peg it to the ground and tuck it in here. So you can get into that shelter and have it closed. So you can imagine it's closed this end. You've got loads of room in there. but I'm going to peg it out for now so you can see what it's like. You can just keep it open like this. Let's have a look around. Look how big this is. That is an enormous shelter. That's massive. Yeah, for one man that's a bit big. It is a bit big, to be honest. But we could put a pole in that and push the back up. So we're going to do a bit of that now. I'm going to leave you out here so you can watch it happening from here, and then we'll take you inside. I'm going to get the walking pole I brought with me. The good thing about the pole, it's got a nice rubbery handle at the top, so it's not going to damage your tarp. You can come inside to a point where you feel it'll give you enough room. You don't want to take your room away from doing this. Most people stick these on the actual tie out points, but you don't have to, not with a rubberized end on it. There's a seam I'm going to put mine on. That's enormous. I'm going to go in so you can have a reference to it. I'm just under 6 foot tall. I'm not going to be able to stand in it, but I will be able to go in and you can see how much room there is. You could put a bed in that back bit, to be honest. You can sleep there. You can cook out the front here. I wouldn't suggest fires in here though. I'd probably say a meth stove or a gas stove. I wouldn't burn in there, to be honest. And this is how easy it is to put the pole in. You just extend your pole, find a point. I've got a seam there, so I'll just push up to it. I'll just go back until I find my tension. I'm happy with that tension. Ultimate shelter, one tree shelter. Obviously if you had 2 poles you could put a pole at end, but having a tree, it's stable, it doesn't move, and you don't have to keep on trying to prop it up to get the thing set up to start with. Right, that's that shelter set up. You can do the pole on the outside as well. Just going to see if we can get that going. We just need another bit of cordage. I'm going to wrap it around the top of this a few times. I'll show you how I'm going to do that so you know what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go. I haven't tested any of these setups, so I'm going to put it over the top. I'm going to push it down with my finger, hold it down like that, and wrap it 3 times around. That's all I'm going to do. Then pull it like that. Now I'm going to peg it down behind there. Then we're going to go around as like that. We'll wrap around our fingers. This time though, we're going to pinch the centre, start wrapping it around the cordage. This is a pheromone friction hitch. Push the tag end through, pull it out, dress the knot up, pull it all tight, and now you should have a adjustable knot as like that. So let's get you into that. So there's your pheromone friction hitch, which is around that peg, around the walking pole, pulling the back up. Now if you had another peg, which I have got, you can still pull this out and peg it there, which will give you that rigid. Because I know most videos you're just going to see someone set it up and all of a sudden it's taut because they haven't filmed that bit. As you can see here, it's all slack now. The back's looking good, so all we got to do is move the front. Like that. And you haven't got a pole in there anymore. Do the same this side. If it was windy, you could pull out these tie outs and peg them. If you had extra poles, you could pull out this as well and bring it over. So you've got even more room, but how much room do you need under a tarp that big? It's the question, isn't it? Right, that's the one tree setup or one stick setup, one pole setup with a walking pole. I prefer the pole inside, it's easier. Just to walk in, put the pole up, adjust. This is more room on a smaller tarp. This is probably a better method. But on this big tarp, you don't need that much room. You could have 2 or 3 sleep. You could have 4 sleep in there. If you're just sleeping, easy. And if you've got any extra tarps, you can even do the front. You can just close it off. Or you can bring the front in, close it off, and you've still got a massive area, even with it pushed out. Okay, we're going for the Ridgeline A-Frame setup now. I've turned the tarp around, and we're going to be putting it on down the ridgeline and have the pole at the other end, so we've got a ridgeline. You can have this as high as the tarp will let you. You can have it so you've got air coming under it, or you can have it to the ground. I haven't set it up yet, so when we set it up, we'll just see how it turns out. I've got it quite high at the moment, but I might have it angled so it slopes down from the front to the back, but not to the ground. It'll be on the pole. So let's go over. I'm going to need some prusik knots to give the tautness to this tarp. So I'm going to show you how to do a prusik knot now. So we've got it nice and taut. We know it's going to be about here. So I want to come out to about there. Take my cordage for the prusik knot. You can wrap the inners as well, but it's easier to do the outer. It's not easy to do it when you're not holding anything to hold it up. That's how quick it is to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your tails pull through when you do this, because you don't want to undo this anyway. Because if the tails pull through, it just stops it from being a quick release. Right, now it's up. You can pull your prusik knot out. Flies. You can pull your prusik knot out and get it nice and tight. Now that tarp's tight on that ridge line. Now I don't know if you can see the benefit of the one tree system. If you've got stuff in the way, there's a holly bush here. I can't peg this out here because it's just crap in the way. Ow! Get out of my ear. So I'm going to swing around. Because I'm on one tree, I can go all the way around that tree. It doesn't matter where I go because I can pivot. So I can come to here. And now I'm going to get the walking pole. Right, the Siberian Hitch. Right, this is the Siberian Hitch. Go around your fingers, pinch it, wrap it over the top, so you've got to go from underneath. Take your tag end, push it through there, pull out enough so it doesn't slip through. Now you can adjust this as so. It'll take a lot of force as well. And then to release it, you just pull this tag and it'll just pop straight out. There's an unknotted cord. We're pegged out with a Siberian friction hitch, and then we go up to the walking pole, which is just wrapped around, no knots. Prusik knot tied to the tie out to pull taut. Another prusik knot tied to a tie out to pull taut with the event hitch. An event hitch to hold it to the tree. When there's tension in this, And now we're just going to peg out the corners. And there's your A-frame with a walking pole. If it was just raining, not too windy, that's a good shelter. Just to get you out of bother. One post, one tree, optional setup. So if you had 2 trees, as you can see there's a tree there, I wouldn't go around that pole, I'd just go around the tree. Done. It's a ridgeline shelter, but the prusik knots give you that stretch, and knowing a prusik knot is a great thing. Even in high wind, prusik knots will stay. Well, I hope that's helpful to someone. There's lots of variations. It's not until you've put it up you can see how you can change things and modify. There is a little trick I wanted to show you. I'm going to do it as well. It's to hold up the tarp if you had 2 poles to give you a bit of openness. I've only got the 1 pole, but I've got something else which some of you carry all the time when you go out. I'm going to do it, but I haven't got any strings or cordage to tie it down, so I'm just going to show you it so you'll know that you can tie it down and it will work. Okay then, let's get back to you in a sec. Right, there it is. Camera tripod, basically a walking pole. If you haven't got a walking pole and you've got a camera tripod, forget about all the tarps. Yeah, you can use it to hold a tarp open. As you can see, that shelter's held open lovely now. If I had a bit of cordage to bring it down here, that would support it better. I've put some pegs in for demonstration because I haven't got enough cordage. But that opens that shelter really, really well. But the best thing about a tripod is when you're walking and you're on terrain that's a bit sort of dodgy and you need a 3rd leg, your tripod will make that 3rd leg. It's a walking pole. You can use it perfectly as a walking pole when you're walking around, especially if it's slippery. I've used mine many a times because I don't carry walking poles, I never do. I don't really camp out of the woods myself, but I need to be able to get these shelters up and see how they are. And just a 1 tree shelter in the woods when there's other trees and you've got a bit of open ground around 1 tree, it's a great shelter. It's fantastic, and the fact that you can walk it around so you can get that windage behind you wherever it's coming from. And if you're camping in a location you normally camp in, you know where the wind general direction is anyway. It's usually one or the other way. It doesn't swing around a lot. It's normally always, like in where I am, south of England, it comes from the west. It's a standard. So it's similar shelters to you'd have with 2 trees, but this all can be done with 1, just to let you know that. Right, without rambling on too much, thanks for watching. I am going to go. Wind's getting up, I can hear the trees squeaking and I'm getting bitten, so I'm going to get packed up and I'm going to go home. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Quick tip on how to pack your tarp away. Leave it attached to the tree and then you can stuff it in a sack. I'll show you. All done, ready for next time.